Welcome back, everybody, to Get Your Geek On's Pixar Retrospective Review.
I'm Aaron.
Hey.
That's Robert.
Hey.
And this is Pixar's review of WALL-E?
That's right. I hope that's the movie you watched.
Yeah. Johnny Five, right?
Wow.
I remember Johnny Five in it, and it was kind of old looking, though.
Sure.
But I was like, all right, Pixar's been around for like 30 years.
Yeah, it seems like it. So, yeah, we're talking about WALL-E here today, which, is the movie about one robot's never-ending quest to hold hands.
That's all it was.
I think that's really what it is.
Let's go. Right, we're done.
No. So, yeah, let's talk about this movie. I mean, you've seen this movie before, right? This is not the first time you've seen it.
I saw it when it originally came out, and I think this is the second time I've seen it.
Okay, I think I've seen it one other time, so I think this was the third time for me watching it. So, what are your thoughts? I mean, just overall, what did you like, or what did you not like?
Overall, I like the look. Until, like, while we're on Earth, I like how the clouds look, the dust looks. Like, I was trying to look at other movies, too, around that, because it came out in 2008. I was trying to look at other movies if they had that much detail, but I couldn't really find anyone, so I don't know if Pixar was one of the first ones to do something like that. So I'm
Usually,
not sure.
yeah.
But it looked beautiful. I didn't like the way the humans looked when we got on the ship. I felt that was kind of almost... Yeah, cartoony and like...
Cartoony in a cartoon. How dare they?
How dare Hey, but what's his name was live action?
Fred Willard.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So overall, I mean, okay. I like the beginning. I like the Earth stuff more than I like the ship stuff.
I think you hit on a point there that's interesting, where we have that mix of live action and animation in this, where the humans from the time that WALL-E was created are live action. We see, I think it's just Fred Willard, I think is the only one that we see live action, but we see him a few times.
Unless you count the movie that they're playing.
Yeah, and then there's WALL-E watches a...
Hello Dandy, I think.
I'm not sure exactly, but he watches a video, and so we do see some live action stuff, and then when we start to get humans that we're actually interacting with that are like part of the story, they are animated, obviously. And I agree. I think the Earth stuff is definitely the best. That's the best part of the movie, the early part of this movie. And I mean, I don't know how long it is. It's 20, maybe 30 minutes before we get any dialogue from any actual characters. Like we get dialogue from Fred Willard, kind of setting the stage of what's going on. But I mean, for the first 20 to 30 minutes, it's, a robot and his cockroach. And then, Eve shows up, and he keeps mispronouncing it as Eva. Yeah. And they have, she can speak, but they don't really have conversations, because he can't really speak. And so it's not really until we're actually on the ship that we get some dialogue. And that's really interesting, to be able to tell a story just through visuals, which is mostly what the Earth stuff is doing. And that is definitely where I find the movie most interesting.
I do too. Now, I love how you did talk about how it takes about 30 minutes before we really move into any part. I did feel the beginning of showing how alone he is, it did feel like it dragged a little bit. Maybe it needed some more music behind it, for more ambiance, for me at least. But I felt that kind of dragged. And then the scene where after she gets the plant, I get where you're trying to make that connection, because she needs that connection. WALL-E has it, obviously, right off the bat, because he's just like, oh, my first robot I've seen, almost his first crush, where she kind of needs to see it, which she does later, and that's when she kind of falls in love with WALL-E.
Right.
And I get why they did that, but I almost could have lived with it as just her seeing it. I think I'd rather have had that.
No, I mean, I think we needed it, and I loved it, and honestly, like, you're talking about that part dragging, and maybe it does a little bit, but I found myself relishing it because I didn't want to move on from that, because that's my favorite part. Yeah. Like, I didn't want to get up into space.
And that's true too. And that's kind of like the flip side of it. I didn't want to get to space yet, and I forgot how much I liked the Earth scenes and how much I liked how all of it looked, and I'm like, cool.
I mean, I love not only when he first finds the little thing that he uses as a hat, and he kind of plays with it, but then when he's showing it off to her, and he's like,
that part's funny.
Like,
I love that.
It's really funny. Like, as he's showing her all of her things, I'm really enjoying that. That montage, of course, of after she's kind of shut down, and he's trying to like still have her with him, and so he's like got Christmas tree lights wrapped around her, and he's pulling her around everywhere, and the holding of the umbrella, and he just gets electrocuted immediately twice.
That I did like.
Like it's got a lot of kind of heartwarming stuff to it.
Yeah, and they kept that part moving perfectly. I think.
Yeah.
Like I think. Again, there was a part where it felt like it dragged just a little bit for me. Not like the beginning part, but that a little bit dragged. But again, I thought it was, like you said, it's perfect. I guess I would have seen some of it, maybe a different scene that we didn't get to see, but she sees it.
Okay.
I think maybe something like that. Because, like, I thought it was cute that she does see it. That's what makes her fall. Oh, realizing hand-holding, that's what he...
Right.
Okay.
I love how many times, like he's got those human characteristics where it's like, he's reaching for her hand and then she turns and he's like, let me, I wasn't reaching for your hand or anything. Yeah. Like, you could see it all through just, like his robot eyes and his mannerisms and his movement. Like, I thought that was really clever. And all of the robots in this universe have personality. Like Mop. You talking about Mo?
Oh, is it Mo? I thought it was Mop.
No, Mo. Yeah, the one that cleans. Yeah.
Because that's all he wanted to do.
Yeah, and it's funny because, again, like they all have their directive that they're supposed to follow, but they also all have personality. They also can all, kind of deviate from that if they need to or if they want to. All of those things. It's not just, robots blindly following programming.
Yeah.
And that's, and he's unique. They're all like that. They all have their personality. Yeah. And so I liked that as we get introduced to several of the robots in space. And I will say that as much as I remembered from previous viewings that I didn't care for the space stuff as much. I prefer the Earth stuff. It didn't grate on me too bad. Like there's some fun stuff. Mo is definitely fun. Some of the adventure stuff that they're doing, like especially this part where they're out in space together and they're kind of flying together.
That was
like
cute.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
And there's some stuff with the humans, like with the captain or with the two that kind of Wall-E interacts with John and Mary.
Yeah.
That is kind of like you start to get a glimpse of what these people have been robbed of, by just living in space and having every need catered to and taken care of and all of those things. And, they've lost their humanity,
right?
Is really what it is. And so it's cool to see them rediscovering that. I liked it. I also, it was funny because I watched this last night with, my daughter got halfway through it and then it was bedtime and at first she did not want to watch it. And then like within 5 minutes, she was so upset when it was her bedtime. She didn't want to stop watching it. But then it was funny because my wife was like, why is there always got to be an evil robot? And I was like, well, it really wasn't. Like that one was actually following the humans' directive that said, don't go back to Earth because it's destroyed and you're going to die. Yeah. And so that robot, even though he was acting as an antagonist, what do they call him?
Otto.
Yeah, because he's autopilot. Which is another clever thing that they have, like all their names are anagrams. You have Wall-E, who's the waste allocator, load lifter, Earth class. Wall-E, and Eve is like an, I don't remember exactly.
Extravagant.
It's not, but it's
excavate something.
Yeah, it's something where
vegetation,
it's
something.
Vegetation, Earth, something, I don't know. And so they all have those little acronyms, and I like that. But again, like that robot wasn't being evil; he was just following what he thought was best.
What he's told. He's just following what he's told.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I like that. So I feel like I've been talking for a while now, but. What is it about the space stuff that you really didn't like?
And I guess we go from very detailed Earth stuff, like we see the satellites, we see the dirt, we see the particles, we see the garbage, and it's not just like one little piece of garbage like multiplied, which I'm sure some are in the background, but you could see the different things, the different items in his house, for lack of a better term. And then when we go to space, it's all just bright and colorful, and it's it's what's supposed, like you said, it's to distract the humans.
Yeah,
which
I think it's actually, that's exactly by design.
Yeah.
Is that we've lost all of the chaos. We've lost all of the variety. It's all uniform. I mean, there's even that point where they're all, I think, wearing like red jumpsuits.
they're wearing red.
And then the advertisement comes up and it's like, try blue. It's the new red.
Yeah.
And everyone just immediately like clicks a button and they all have blue on. Yeah. You know, and it's like, you know, it's a commentary on consumerism and it's a commentary on, you know, like all of these things.
That may be why I don't like it, because I don't like uniform. Sure. I like living unique and living outside of that. Sure. Which is maybe why I like Austin too, you know.
Stay weird.
Yeah, exactly. Stay weird. So that might be why I don't like it so much.
Sure.
But I don't know. I just don't like it. I feel like it's also not as detailed at times as the Earth was.
So the reason I think I was thinking about it, and I think the reason I really enjoy the first half is because it's unique. It's maybe a story that we haven't seen before. Mm-hmm. And once we get into space, it feels like pretty much every other, you know, like this type of movie. And so it's not bad. They do a good job. Yeah. It's still good animation. You still get unique characters like Mo and you know, and Otto and fun things that they're doing there.
Yeah. And you get some good jokes like with the two that he interacts with, Mary and John.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You know, I like the little scene that I didn't catch the first time ever. Get ready to have kids.
Yeah.
And it's
yeah.
like, okay, like you're rushing, but like, oh, you're catching the kids.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah. So, I mean, I thought it was cute.
Yeah.
You know, this again doesn't have a huge emotional impact on me.
Not even the ending did for me.
Well, and this is what I wanted to talk about too, is that I think the ending, the fake out felt really flat to me.
It did. For me, it fell short.
It felt like, you know, I was watching it going, oh, but this is a kid's movie rated G. It's not going to end on like this total downer note of him having his memory lost and he's just going back to just, you know, putting garbage in cubes again.
Yeah.
Like that's not going to happen. So it was almost like, why are we going to waste 10 minutes on this fake out, you know, to have, and it's a cute moment where, you know, like she initiates the handhold and then, you know, as she thinks that he's not there anymore, she goes to pull away and it kind of, locks in and that's what brings him back and all that stuff. Like it's a cute moment, but it just felt like the fake out was unnecessary.
You could have done that while he's rebooting. You know, she's like, come on, like maybe make it a longer reboot. Like, come on, come back. And then he does. And it's like, 30 seconds opposed to 5 minutes of that or so. And it's
I don't know. So
I didn't care for that.
All right. So I think we've talked about WALL-E pretty good. So what are your overall thoughts on the movie, and give me a score?
My overall thoughts, it was good. Again, at least watch it once, I'll always say. Again, I love the Earth stuff way more than anything else. I do recommend watching the credits because it kind of shows you, like what you said in A Bug's Life, it shows you what's going on though. Instead of bloopers, we get more of a story and just the credits. So watch that. My score overall, because of the visual effects, I'll at least give it a 7. Down the straight 7.
Nice.
What about you?
Yeah, I think I agree. I think this is a good movie. It's there. You can start to see Pixar at this point. You know, movies that have come out have included like, you know, the first couple Toy Story movies, The Incredibles, Finding Nemo, Ratatouille, A Bug's Life, which we talked about those two already. And so, you know, they're really starting to, Monsters Inc. was out by this point. They've started to challenge, you know, kind of animation, and they've arrived at this point. Yeah. Right. And this one feels like their first distinct commentary on, you know, the social pieces of the world. Like, this is a very clear commentary about, you know, pollution, about, you know, global warming, about consumerism, about, you know, also being unique, all of those things. Like there's a very clear commentary in this one, and sometimes that is a little bit overwhelming. Like it's hitting you over the head with it. It's a little bit obvious. Now, it's a kids movie, so maybe it's supposed to be obvious, right? Like it's intended to be able to reach, you know, children with this message as well. Exactly. But with all that being said, it's a fun movie. It's you know, it's enjoyable. It does, you know, it does start a little bit slow. So if you're watching this with a kid, it might take them a few minutes to get into it because you know, there's not much going on. But I think it's fun for sure. I think, you know, you can really enjoy WALL-E and Eve. Their relationship is a lot of fun. And overall, I think it's a good movie, not great. Doesn't necessarily have the emotional impact, but from a animated movie, it's a very good movie. I'm with you. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10.
I think that's one of the first times we've actually be on the same one.
We don't usually agree.
No.
At least not completely.
Yeah.
But I think, so far on these Pixar movies, we've seen the 3 that we've done. We've done A Bug's Life, we've done Ratatouille, and we've done WALL-E now. And I think they've progressively gotten better. These 3 movies. I think WALL-E's the best one that we've watched so far.
I'll give you that.
But I think we're going to get to some that I like a lot more. But I do still like WALL-E. I do still recommend it. And definitely, again, I feel like we're going to say this every video. When we talk about Pixar movies, these are animated movies. They're made for kids, but adults can and will enjoy them.
I think so.
And so I would definitely recommend that you watch it if you haven't. This always feels a little bit like a hidden gem within Pixar because I feel like not as many people saw WALL-E.
Yeah.
And so if you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. If you have, let us know what you think. Are we crazy? This is the best Pixar movie ever? Are we crazy because it's terrible and you don't enjoy it at all? Let us know either way. We want to hear what you have to say. Make sure you click the like button on this video, comment, subscribe, and we'll talk to you soon. Everyone stay geeky.
Is it true?